come on! Oh, hello. Welcome to what is the Gamebits studio, or will be for the next 24 hours. I'm packing all this stuff up and moving, and I have no idea when my entertainment center will be assembled again. So before it goes in the boxes, I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you where I've been shooting all these videos and playing all these games. You're going to see my TV, my surround sound, my video game systems, my games, my board games, my DVDs, anything else I keep in this room that keeps me entertained. One of the most common questions I get on all my videos is, what TV is that? So you're going to see the specific models I use with links in the video description for more information about any of the products highlighted here.
A word of warning, you're not going to see my entire collection today. It's too much to fit in any one place, but here's a quick list of all the game systems I do own.
Ready to go on the tour?
Let's start with the television. This is a Samsung UN46D6000SF. That is a 46-inch 1080p LED HDTV with no 3D features. I really like that as a USB port, so I can watch MP4 files I download off YouTube. It has a lot of apps. It is a smart TV, as you can see here. It has Netflix, Hulu, but no Amazon Prime, which is a little disappointing. And it's great. I wish I'd gotten a little bit bigger of a television, but I'm not sitting all that far away, so it actually works out pretty well. By the way, the stand that the TV and all the games are on is by Init, I-N-I-T, specifically model NTC1140. It's cleared for up to a 50-inch television and 105 pounds of equipment. Now let's take a look at what I have connected to the TV. Over here I have the Sony receiver, the STR-DH720. It takes component and HDMI input from all the devices on my entertainment center and feeds them into the TV. I can program different channels for all the different game systems, and I even have my Airport Express hooked up to it so I can play audio from my iPod or my MacBook Pro wirelessly over the Wi-Fi. I also like that it has a graphic user interface so I can configure all my stuff right on the TV screen without looking at the little display on the receiver itself. Over here I have an old school Sony VCR, the SLV-779HF. I keep this for two reasons. One, it's the ultimate in removable media. If you TiVo something, there's really not a good way to get it off your TiVo and share it with somebody. And there are times when I need to get somebody to record something on a channel I don't have, so the VCR it is. Plus, I still have a lot of old VCR tapes, some with legacy material that I need to archive and put on YouTube, and I use my VCR to convert those to MP4 files. And a Panasonic DVD player, specifically the DMP BDT110 full HD 3D Blu-ray disc player from Panasonic. It too has smart apps. Down here is my Xbox 360. It's an older model, not the sexy or the slim, but I have upgraded the hard drive. And over here is the Wii U, which I bought, of course, on opening day and unboxed. My PS4 and my Xbox One aren't hooked up right now because there weren't any really good games that I wanted for them. That little black box sitting on the top there is my Elgato Game Capture HD, which is basically a splitter that takes my HDMI signal and sends it to my computer via USB for me to record for my Let's Play videos. It is sitting atop my subwoofer. It is an OSD Audio S10 10-inch high-powered home theater 120-watt subwoofer, which provides some nice bass at a very reasonable cost to my 5.1 surround sound. The other 5 points are a Cambridge Soundworks sound system. I'm not even sure they make these anymore. It's just 5 little speakers that I have hooked up around my house, and they're probably not even in the best position to be getting the best sound, but it works for me. Now this bookcase, which is also the first thing I've ever painted outside community theater, holds my video games, which aren't that many nowadays because most of my games are digital downloads. But here are my 3 Xbox 360 games, which I have on disc, bought at retail. And then over here are my Wii U games, and I actually have more of those on disc than I have Xbox 360. I keep them in chronological order, the order in which I got them. So it's reverse right here, the way I grabbed it. Mario, Wii Party U, Super Mario Bros. U, and Nintendo Land. Exciting. And that big box is what Nintendo Land came in. No, I'm sorry, that's Wii Party U. We'll get back to those DVDs later, but right now let's focus on the games, and I have a lot more games than just that. Let me show you my games. In the bottom drawer are all my old school VHS tapes, which I still have some of, including an episode of Mystery Science Theater, the first with Mike Nelson as the host. Someday I'm going to watch these, but I have no idea when. Unfortunately, these are a little annoying to open and close. Up here are my original Xbox games. I have quite a few of those. And as you can probably see, some of them are actually still in the shrink wrap, because I received them as review copies as a member of the industry, as a member of the press. And I didn't request them, so I never felt obligated to play them. But they're still there, and I don't feel it would be ethical or moral to sell them and thus profit off it. So they sit there and collect dust. And up here are my GameCube and original Wii games. I still have my GameCube here, and it has a Game Boy player hooked up, and of course the Wii U can play Wii games, so I felt it handy to keep these on hand. Not that I really play them that much, but every now and then I get a hankering to play some Wave Race. Now this inset is not just for fine china, it's also for some more interesting objects, such as my Virtual Boy. My first job ever was at Blockbuster, and I bought this 32-bit VR system, as Nintendo touted it, when it was discontinued. I have this many games, which isn't all that many. There weren't that many, but some of them are quite hard to find. So I have Wario Land, Vertical Force, 3D Tetris, Tellero Boxer, Panic Bomber, Galactic Pinball, and Baseball. And I have not played this system in about 3 years, but Mario Clash, which I also have, and which is currently plugged into the system, which is why you don't see it in that stack, that's probably my favorite game. It's really cool, even if it is just black and red. So I'm very glad to have that. There's the controller, there's the system. Whoop, zooming the wrong way here. Alright, zoom out. Here we go. Now, above the Virtual Boy is a cabinet. Again, no fine china here. This is where I keep all my board games and my card games. I tend to focus more on party games that are easy to learn and play, because I have a lot of friends who are not hardcore gamers and they don't have time to get into stuff like Seven Wonders. So I have Anomia, Suro, Munchkin, Bananagrams, the Star Trek edition of Settlers of Catan, some Scenit. I forget which Scenits I have, but they're pretty cool. Some old Dungeon Dragon stuff is there. Quirkle, Flux, Quiddler. Pretty cool. Now I want to pull out one thing from behind here. This is also where I keep my GameCube, but way back here is something that is very inconsistent with the fact that I just hosted a panel at PAX East on feminism and gender equality in gaming. And you're going to wonder why I have this. It's because it's so absolutely bizarre. It is a glossy poster from Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. Let me see if I can get a slightly better shot here. It's so glossy that it kind of shimmies and is reflective. So these are some of the fine characters in this volleyball game, which is sort of a cross between volleyball and Tamagotchi, to be honest. I had 2 of these. I donated one to the International Center for the History of Electronic Games at the Strong Museum in Rochester, New York, and I kept the other just because it's so bizarre. Anyway, speaking of posters, I have this awesome propaganda poster from ThinkGeek, given to me for my birthday way back in 2011. This one is based on the film Tron, which was also a video game. I have 3 others up here. Right to left, it's Dig Dug, Joust, and Frogger. I'm sorry that the lighting isn't that good. This is one thing, reason I'm moving out of this place, actually. I'm going to have a much better lighting rig in the new place. But for now, this is what those are. And I have a 5th one hanging elsewhere in this room that you'll see as we continue our clockwise tour around the place. It was a pain in the butt to get those framed, but very expensive, but it was worth it. Brief detour into the world of film, which was actually the basis for my first WordPress blog. These are all the DVDs I have. Very few of them are Blu-ray. Lost in Translation, Star Trek, Terminator 2, I think, Avatar, of course. All alphabetical. That way I know where to find them. And I also use Delicious Library on my Mac to keep track of which ones I own and which ones I've watched. But that's all my films. Now here is an original work of art. This was, I don't actually know what medium it was, but this was made by the same person who gave me the propaganda posters. And over here I have autographed glossies of all my favorite Star Trek actors. I have the entire Next Generation cast except for Will Wheaton and Diana Muldaur, as well as a few from DS9 and Voyager. There's the other propaganda poster. I don't think I have to tell you which one that is. Just keep on jumping and defeat the beast. But yeah, I have a lot of Star Trek signs and posters and autographs. I have a few Star Wars as well. I think David Prowse is up there, Darth Vader. And here are all the other celebrities I have. There's too many for me to have them all up hanging on my wall. Again, that's another reason why I'm moving. But let me show you some of my favorites. This is Robin Shou from Mortal Kombat. Joseph Mascola from Days of Our Lives, Carol Spinney, Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch, Eliza Dushku from Buffy, Bill Daly from I Dream of Jeannie, and Barbara Eden from I Dream of Jeannie. All made out to me, you'll notice. Love, Ken. This is Dawn Wells from Gilligan's Island, Larry Storch from F Troop, and Tracy Gold from Growing Pains, and Margot Kidder from Superman. Unfortunately, I could not get Christopher Reeve's autograph. Helen Slater played Supergirl. So I definitely have when I do have these hanging up, I tend to group the superheroes together. Sean Astin from Lord of the Rings. Steve Hofstetter, who's a comedian, a stand-up comedian. Sergio Aragones from Mad Magazine. Dean Cain from Lois and Clark. Stan Lee, of course, creator of almost all things Marvel. Ray Park, known as Toad and Darth Maul. John Wesley Shipp from the TV show The Flash, based on the DC superhero. James Marsters, also known as Spike and Lex Luthor. Christopher Lloyd from Taxi and Back to the Future. And who else do I have here? Of course, Bruce Boxleitner from Tron and Babylon 5. Kevin Sorbo from Hercules. Another Sean Astin one, this one portrait instead of landscape, that's him as Rudy. Jennifer Love Hewitt, I actually got that at Karaoke Revolution promo from Konami, and Charlize Theron. And I forgot to show you my Steve Wozniak one, but I also have one of those, which ties in with my floppy pillow, the Apple II. This is a custom pillow casing made by the same person who made the Pac-Man poster and gave me all the propaganda posters. So there's my Wii U stand, there's my Wiimotes, there's one of my surround sound speakers. And back over to this bookcase, this is where I keep all my TV shows on DVD, as opposed to my movies, which you previously saw all alphabetical, including Groundhog Day and Clue. So again, these are alphabetical as well. Buffy, Cheers, Chad Vader, Dungeons & Dragons, Dollhouse, The Flash, Guyver, Red vs. Blue, Reboot, Quantum Leap, Mystery Science Theater 3000, Loading Ready Run, The Incredible Hulk, Heroes. And then I have a few more shows on DVD. Again, back on this bookcase, same place I keep some of my games. Smallville, Star Trek, lots of Star Trek. Gotta love the Star Trek. All the Next Generation and DS9. The Tick, Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. And there's me at Nintendo of America in June of '98. And there's me with one of my favorite cosplayers. She plays Luca from Chrono Trigger, and she won a cosplay contest at PAX East 2014. When I'm playing the games, actually playing games, I do that too. I kick my feet up on this ottoman, but it serves a dual function because it opens up and holds all my peripherals in absolutely no order whatsoever. So this mess might frighten some of you. But here are all my controllers, all my cables, all my nunchucks, my add-ons, my peripherals, my microphones. Just all goes in there. And whenever I need it, I go digging through and find what I need. So that's it. That's pretty much the tour of my entertainment setup. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to reconstituting everything in my new home.
And continuing to shoot video, so please subscribe to YouTube channel Gamebits.